having some issues technically. Our Pageantry Now is all about positive pageantry and being able to shine some light on pageant title holders and also the men and women that make pageants happen. And a lot of times pageants get a negative connotation because of social media or sometimes because of reality television. So what we try to do here is to celebrate all of the wonderful things that title holders are out in the community doing internationally with their different titles. And we do have special guests 3 days a week. We do Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then we do Sundays at 5 p.m. So I'm here with our special guest. I see her that she is in the chat, so hopefully we'll have everybody else on. And do me a favor, Kim, go in the guest queue, so like we did earlier, and then I will tag you from there because that seems to work the best. Maddie, can you hear me now? Hey, Kamal, how are you? Thank you for joining me. Hello there. Kim, are you there? Let me see if I can guess you this way. Let's see if it works this way. Okay, can you hear me though, or is it really? I'm doing good. How are you? Try this again. I'm good. I'm so glad that you're here. You're from Algeria. I'm from the United States. So very nice to have you. It's nice to be able to the one nice thing about our show is that we can connect to people all over the world. Right now we're waiting for a title holder to be able to come in and tell us about herself. She's the reigning Ms. Elite U.S. Woman of Achievement, and her name is Kim, and we're just waiting for her to pop in so that you guys can, well, I can talk to her, and then if you guys have questions that you want to ask, you guys can ask her in chat as well. The only thing that we request is that you do not make any questions political, that you do not make any questions about religious things, and that we try to keep it as clean as possible. Again, we do have a very strict policy about because the audience has to be 13 or older, but because we do have 13-year-olds, we try to keep things PG. So with that being said, feel free to ask questions if you like. Let me see if I can let's see if Kim, it says Kim's in, so let me see if we can try this one more time. It's not working. It shows that she's in. It's working! Yay! Yay! Thanks for coming, Afan. I appreciate it. We haven't been doing a lot of regular shows. Oh, I am from Florida, but Kim is from Arizona. So let's see if she can log in. Hold on one second. The only bummer about this being live is that we never know how it's going to be how it's going to work, so we'll see if we can get her to log in. Hey there, however, whatever YouNow person is that just logged in. Hi, I'm Stacy. This is Pageantry Now. We actually are getting ready to interview the Ms. Elite U.S. Woman of Achievement. She won her title 3 weeks ago today, so she's going to come on and talk about her experience at the pageant and what she plans on doing with her title. So let's see. Yay! I see her. All right. And hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Hey, Reneth, how are you? I did not place. I actually ended up in the hospital during pageant. You have no sound. Do you have earphones on? Or... oh, you can't hear what I'm saying. I did not place because I ended up in the hospital, so I was able to still it's okay, it's alright. I haven't been on because I was actually on bed rest for a while. Hey Mark, how are you? Thank you for being here, we appreciate it. So I actually took some time off. I took some time off just to kind of like recoup and rest the way I needed to. I've done a couple of interviews since then, but I'm not doing daily shows anymore now. We're just doing 3 days a week. And we're only doing it with... oh, I'm so sorry. Well, that's good. All right, let's try that. All right, Kim, can you hear me now? Can you hear me through the computer? Nope, no sound. And everybody else can hear me fine, right? Okay, Kim, do me a favor, close it up, and then go back into it. Sometimes it's glitchy because you're getting no sound because of the... so close the page altogether, make sure you're in Chrome, and then try reloading it, okay? She's not on her phone, she's on her computer, so... oh, okay. Sean, how are you? Hey, Pop-Tart, what's up? We're trying to work out some kinks again. We're experiencing technical issues. Go figure. We're trying to guess somebody, and we're not able to guess because of issues. I love you too, my love. It's so good to see you. Yeah, it's been lately that it's been kind of weird. So, see, my woman, I'm very good. How are you? It's my Woman of Achievement t-shirt officially from the pageant. So... I'm trying to... there we go. Okay, let's see. So, we'll see. Let's see if we can get Kim back on. Let's see if it works. Kim, can you hear me now? We're 41st in girls. Ooh, not bad. I am 50 years old. How are you? How old are you? Oh, thanks, Pop-Tart. That's really sweet. Thank you. Let's try this again. It's working!
Hey, wait.
Yay! Hi!
What happened?
I don't know. I guess sometimes, you know, it's just how it loads in and you just never know what's going to happen. So one thing, it's like I feel like every time I go live, I never know what to expect because it literally is like doing live TV. So, you know, we could be standing in a, you know, I mean, clearly I don't have cows, but, you know, anything can happen. So, and some weird things have happened, like when I've been at Pageant, like I've been at Miss USA or I've been at Teen USA and I've been covering it, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, oops.
Yay! Well, I don't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, as long as you can hear me, that's fine.
I know.
We see you beautifully, so you'll be able to look at it later on. It'll be on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it and be able to share
Yay!
it. So,
Great.
So, all right. So, do me a favor. Introduce yourself and tell us all about who you are.
I am Kimberly Jones. I'm from Arizona, so I see everybody on here telling where they're from. So hi. But I am 2017 Ms. Elite U.S. Woman of Achievement, and that was what, two weeks ago?
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks
ago already.
Can you believe it? It's been 3 weeks already.
No, it's scary. I can't believe it's been 3 weeks, but it's been really busy.
And this woman has gotten the most amazing photos done already, which are like to die for. So I'm gonna show people the little 4. Can you guys see?
I can't see. No,
you can't see it, but
up in front of my face.
They can see it. So I'm gonna show. So look how gorgeous. And you guys can always go to the chat and take a look and actually see the pictures. So the pictures are there, but the brand new shots look amazing. So, congratulations on winning your new title. And
thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what your platform is, or what you plan to speak about, and what you've spoken about previously when you were because you were a local or state title holder. Were you Ms. America?
Right. Arizona.
I wasn't sure if you were Arizona, because K Southwest. Okay.
K was Southwest, right.
Okay, so tell us about your platform and how you plan to use your title.
It is, and my platform stemmed from my son Jeffrey, who he may pop in here, we never know. He suffered a traumatic brain injury when he was 13. He was in a car accident with his sister, and it put him in a coma for 42 days, and he was in the hospital, I think it was 4.5 months. It was Christmas Eve when he came out, and that was 10 years ago. And it's really about, my platform is about not traumatic brain injury, because there's a lot out there for traumatic brain injury survivors, but it's more for the caregivers, the mothers, the fathers, the spouses, the siblings, the children taking care of their parents who survived from a traumatic brain injury. And I found that there weren't a lot of resources out there for us. So it was extremely lonely. It was extremely devastating. It ended up with me suffering from depression, severe anxiety, out of a job, or I had to basically take leave from my job for 9 months, I believe it was, to take care of him. He couldn't be left alone. And it resulted in some very scary mental health issues, as well as issues financially, with relationships, because people don't really understand traumatic brain injury. And it's a very unique injury, and it causes some very unusual things to occur. And that's what my platform kind of spearheaded from, was my whole experience dealing with that, and nobody there to help me. And like I said, it was really lonely, because my friends dropped off, his friends obviously dropped off, but it was very isolating, and that's what I think.
It sounds very isolating, and I know that
very
was
much
part
so.
of the issue. Do me a favor, move your computer just a little bit to the right, because I would love to have you centered.
That way?
Other way.
Other way. My other right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking, okay, my sash is on my left side, so you've got to be, just so we've got a better frame of you, because I want to see the sparkly crown, and I want people to see how beautiful you are. So,
no, it's fun to wear.
Well, it's heavy though, and it's very delicate, so you've got to be really, really careful. So just, I know that was one of the things when I was talking.
Might get a brain injury from it. No.
Okay, I have to tell you that actually one of my pageant pet peeves is that absolutely when someone gets into a car and they're wearing a crown, I make them take their crown off. Because I do know of somebody that was wearing their crown, they got into a car accident and ended up with a traumatic brain injury because of their crown. So
Oh my God.
yes, so it is a pet peeve of mine. My friends all know that if you are in your car, do not wear your crown. To anybody out there in the world that has a crown, don't wear it while you're in the car. Just don't do it. It's not safe. So
I would never have thought of that.
you would never have thought about that, right? But just
I
think
would
about it.
never have thought about that.
You've got a piece of metal on your head that goes directly into your skull.
That's true. That's very true.
So I just tied that all in too. So officially tell us the official name of your platform so that we know what it is.
It is.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. It's TBI Survive and Thrive. And the premise is that it's not enough to just survive your loved one's TBI. It's to go on and really thrive, because I know you feel like when this happens and you're in this caregiver mode, you're like, oh my gosh, is this the rest of my life? Is this what I have to look forward to? This is it. This is 24/7. And it's not. It's hard to find those things, but it is possible. And it took me a long time. I'm talking years. It's been 10 years. It easily took me 8 years, 7 years maybe, to get to a point where I could actually look at doing other things. And I got into fitness competitions, and I got into pageantry because I missed it. And for so long I thought, well, that's all over. I've missed the prime years of my life, as a caregiver. What else am I going to do now? This is it. And that frame of mind is deadly. It's deadly. So that's why it's survive and thrive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for those of us, I know that you gave a very dramatic presentation for your speech about what happens or what is a traumatic brain injury, but do you want to tell us about your demonstration so you can explain what happens with a traumatic brain injury? And for those of you that are not familiar, a lot of football players are dealing with the long-term effects of traumatic brain injuries. Well, a lot of sports players in general, just because the smallest impact can actually affect your brain, and we just don't think about it. So, Kim, do you want to go ahead and explain that to us?
Exactly what you just said about the crown. I mean, we laugh about it and joke about it, but when you think about that, something driving into the skull, that would be an open injury, obviously, because there's a puncture. But when it goes in there, that impact, it bruises or it impacts the neurons that are in the brain right there. And depending on where it's hitting in the brain, will determine the outcome. So my son's could have been just as slight or as dramatic, but it still would have a lifetime effect. His was severe. The impact of his was severe. He had not a mark on his entire body after this accident, but yet was in a coma for 42 days and for 5 months, and it took him 3 years to get to a point where he could function on his own. I mean, it's huge, the impact. And that's kind of what I was trying to do with that demonstration. And for those of you, obviously, that weren't there at the pageant, I had a shaker with an egg and water, and I shook it. And you could look in the cup and see the fractures on the egg. And then when you shook it a little harder, the egg would break a little more, and you'd see more cracks. And then I shook it really hard, and I slammed it, and it was instantaneous. You could actually see pieces of shell missing. And I equate that to that's your brain. That's parts that are missing. But again, people who are in very gentle whiplash scenarios could have a brain injury. They could have a mild one, or they could have something like, slipping on ice. There's a very well-known traumatic brain injury author who she fell on a patch of ice and suffered a traumatic brain injury.
Okay, Asan has a question. Go ahead, Asan. Just make sure that it's not political, that it's not religious, and we want to keep it PG. So please be. We try to be respectful because some of our viewers our viewers are 13 and older, so that's the only thing that we require. But feel free to type the question in chat, and then either Kim or I can answer depending on who it's to. Okay, so it's all about the neuro thingy. Okay, go right ahead. That's you, Kim.
I like that. That's a technical term, neuro thingy. What's your question, Asan?
I'm good, Brooke. How are you?
Neuro thingy. I like that. That sounds like me.
Well, it's like one of our fellow title holders and pageant sisters, who is now one of the national title holders, Annie, was in an accident and has a traumatic brain injury as well. And I'll be in the middle of a conversation and she'll just forget what we're talking about, and I'll just be like, okay. Or we'll talk about something, and an hour later I'll call her and she goes, we talked, and I'll be like, yes, yes, and I understand, and it's so strange because it affects the emotions, it affects, okay, how much psychological stress and anxiety things can affect you regarding the brain functioning.
A huge number, huge number. Just speaking, watching my son, he was 13, so you add into that the age that he was, those teenage years when all the hormones are raging and you're really maturing. It was a very big factor. His anxiety level went through the roof for about the first 3 years. Even now, when we are out someplace in public, if there's a lot of commotion, a lot of activity, a lot of noise, a lot of lights, anything like that, he gets very anxious, and you can see he'll twitch, or he'll start slurring his words or stuttering his words more, and it's just the stress from all of that input coming in, and his brain just basically overloads. It's kind of like a socket that overloads. But before, none of that would have bothered him. But after, absolutely it bothers him. So, he knows that he needs to unplug, if you will, and he'll come home from being out and about in public, and he will go to his room and basically isolate himself for a while and just kind of settle down, and let the brain rest, really is what it is. So it's huge.
So it's kind of like
I could see that.
As a behavior therapist, I look at it from a technical standpoint, sensory integration issue, meaning that he gets overstimulated and he cannot put the information together, so it overloads him, and then he has to react to it in a way that he possibly can. So
absolutely, because yes, think about your brain while it's handling the stress and anxiety. For example, the son, I'm reading what you wrote. Your brain is using up all of its energy to deal with that stress and that anxiety and all those emotions. There's less brain energy to work with performance and other functions, whether they're physical functions or mental functions or executive functions or anything. So it's busy over here dealing with the stress and the anxiety. It's using up a lot of energy. People with a brain injury have a requirement for about 4 times the amount of brain energy that someone without an injury needs. It takes them that much more to do a task. Oh, he says it's make life miserable. No, don't do that. Don't let it get to that point. That's where you need to start getting out.
Start talking to somebody, because what happens too also in situations of stress and anxiety, serotonin is something that's released into your brain that makes your brain function the way it's supposed to. It makes the neurons react the way that they're supposed to. But if you use up all of your serotonin, then the connections don't come together correctly. So what I would suggest is going and seeing a neurologist and talking to a neurologist or a therapist, because the therapist is going to help you be able to talk about your situation and the anxiety that you're having and help you find ways of coping with it. But the neurologist will be able to look at it and see what the specific situations are that you're having with physical problems that you might be having. It may not be physical, it may just be a psychological issue, and you won't know unless you go to a doctor to find out. So
yeah, and that's exactly right. And the other thing is what boosts serotonin? Exercise, laughing, happy, all of that boosts serotonin, which you need. And the more that you laugh and the more that you get away from depression and anxiety, the better your body responds, the better all of your brain functions work, the better the neurons put information together. And I don't want to say the smarter you become, but it lengthens your neurons and you have more energy.
Makes you fire. Exactly.
Right.
So
you have more energy. And really, that's what we did with my son. We got him involved as well in fitness and training with a
Right.
physical trainer, and the doctors all said that act of focusing on the exercises, focusing on the muscles, it helped his brain relax from the stress and the anxiety. So it refocused the brain, so to speak. And so while it was focusing on the muscles, it was relaxing from the stress and the anxiety. And it really helped. There's that whole mind muscle connection you can read on the internet. There's tons of
Yeah.
articles on it.
Anytime
Huge.
that you do an activity that physically requires you to cross over your body, meaning to imagine that there's a special line down the middle of your body and your two halves.
Right.
Anytime your right hand reaches to the left side of your body or anything, that actually helps put both hemispheres of your body together. But you have to be active to be able to do it, and it actually has been proven
Oh,
to
yes.
not only make you smarter, but to help to improve issues you might be having already. So,
Oh, it definitely did. Definitely has.
okay. So, Kim, I know that your platform is not about TBI or traumatic brain injury, but about helping to support the caregivers themselves. Do you know of any organizations, or are there any organizations out that help support
Whoops.
the caregivers?
There are not a lot, which is why I started TBI Survive and Thrive. And it's more, it's on Facebook. It's called Traumatic Brain Injury Survivors, and it's on Facebook. The page talks about a different community. We've got a community of caregivers who are also TBI survivors, really. They're the hidden victim, I call them. They're the other side of the equation, not just the obvious. But they're on there to offer support, resources, ideas, because you have to get very creative as a caregiver. There are not a lot of agencies out there. However, there are brain injury associations within each state. For example, where I'm at, it's Brain Injury Association of Arizona, Brain Injury Association of Utah, or what have you. And they do have resources available for caregivers. They're not very voluminous, that's for sure. And it doesn't appear that there are a lot of resources for the mental health issues and the therapist side of it. I found it very difficult to find therapists who dealt with traumatic brain injuries, and that was my biggest problem. And even now, I know of one in Arizona. And
Right.
needless to say, she's very popular. She's very popular. But she's the only one that's really trained in traumatic brain injury. And I don't think a therapist or a mental health professional who is not trained in TBI will understand what you as the caregiver are going through. Dealing with
It becomes
these
something that's
unusual
not
things.
just a therapist, because they actually have to become an OT, occupational therapist. They have to become PT, physical therapist. It is not just mental health that you're dealing with. It is an overall body perspective. It's a body-mind perspective, which a lot of people don't recognize. And then with you,
that's what we were
trying to keep you in that positive space is not easy, because you essentially had someone that was totally normal, and then an incident happens, and then the next day they can't dress themselves, they can't eat. The person that was there is no longer there. And how do you rebuild your life based on this stranger living in your home?
And that's the perfect word. And it's as though within the blink of an eye, my son Jeffrey was gone, and now I have new Jeffrey. And it is a stranger. It's a new person. And no one could really understand that. As for me, they kept saying, isn't it wonderful? And aren't you just so grateful that God has left your son here? And aren't you just so grateful he's still here? And yes, I was. But I was also terrified. I didn't know who this was. Who was this? What happened to my son? Where did he go? And it's kind of like the body snatchers. And I thought, where in the world did he go? And you keep looking for this old person, and they're not going to come back. They're just not. It's not something you heal from like a broken bone. And no one could understand why I was in this severe depression. And so, catastrophically upset to the point where I didn't want to go on. And no one understood that. They thought I was ungrateful, which further compounded the issue. How can you be so ungrateful? And they just didn't understand that this is a grieving process on top of the stress of dealing with
right.
the
It is absolutely the loss of somebody that you love, and you have to actually go through the 5 stages of grieving to be able to recalibrate your brain to understand that this person that you loved is not there. I mean, and I think it happens.
Right.
This is a generalization, but I know that it happens with pretty much anyone that goes through any severe disease or any severe situation where their caregiver all of a sudden sees the person that they love totally change, and
right.
they're the stages are hard and not always easy to get through, and it can be, well, like you said, very depressing. You had your own anxiety. You decided to take it and be able to turn it into in fitness and being able to find a positive way of being able to find an outlet where you and Jeffrey both could be able to actually do stuff together and be able to do it and grow and help both of you at the same time, which I think is really fantastic.
It kind of came down to I had to hit rock bottom as his caregiver, and my physical health had declined to such a point that the doctors were like, you don't have any choice. You need to do something. You need to go to the gym. Your cholesterol is astronomically high. Your blood pressure is just ridiculous. You're depressed. We've got you on the maximum dosage of medications. I was a lab rat for about a year. And they said, you don't have a choice. So I've never stepped foot in a gym, except to take like an aerobics class way back in the, 80s, I think it was.
They don't know what that is. Don't talk about that. We don't know what you're talking about. There's not a jazzercise.
No. I had never, ever lifted weights. And the first day, my trainer still laughs about it, the first day I had an appointment with him to show up at the gym, I texted him and said, I'm not feeling well. I'll just come next week. And I got an immediate text back going, I can see your car. You need to pull in now. And I walked in the gym and I thought, well, this is great. And I told him, I go, it's very nice to meet you finally after talking to you on the phone. I don't do sit-ups. I don't do push-ups. I don't do weights. I don't do any of that. And he just looked at me like, okay, and what are we going to do for an hour? And now I just left there this morning when I talked to you, and so now it's been 8 years with him, and he's been a godsend because it caused me to do that, focus on something else besides the scenario I was in. And it helped. It was great.
Yeah.
It was hard though.
No, I was gonna say the accountability is great. You love the fact that you have to pay someone to make you go work out. Fantastic. But they make you accountable. So, I get that. I get that.
And I knew I would just drive right on by if I didn't have somebody.
Honestly, I don't know if you know. We didn't get to talk a lot at Pageant. But I was hit by a truck riding my bicycle 5 years ago. Yep. And, I still am in physical therapy 3 days a week, which, I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to talk. I had to learn how to do all of those things all over again. Luckily, I'm sure I had a concussion, but I don't know that it affected me, like it affected Jeffrey.
Right.
But luckily, as the truck hit me, I pulled my hands over my head and I literally tucked and rolled because I've been a gymnast my whole life, thank God. But as I went underneath the truck, I'm just like, okay, this is bad. This is very, very bad. Which was part of why at Pageant I was having so many problems with just dealing with stuff, which I know no one sees that on the show. No one sees that. They see Stacy and they see me doing things and they think, oh man, she's amazing. She travels all over the world. And I'm like, and then there's the other side of it. Let's talk about that for a minute. You guys get to see the other side that most people don't get to see. So there you go. But
That's true.
You know,
That's very true.
But I'm always grateful that I have the accountability of spending time with my physical therapist, because, you know, even though there are days when I'm just like, I don't want to go, and I'll call and I'll go, it's a mile away, Stacey, get in the car. I'm like, okay.
I know, if I can just get there, if I just get in the car, I'm good to go. And now, you know, that ended up being a lifesaver, literally.
Right. Once I get there, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to talk to me. They don't have to tell me what to do. I go do it all by myself.
I'm not that good.
And then 45 minutes later, I'll walk up to my physical therapist and go, okay, so now I'd like you to do a myofascial release on this muscle and this muscle and this muscle and this muscle. And they go, okay, no problem. And I go, thank you. That was great. See you in 2 days.
I'd be fine if I could just have like a treat or something when I was done, but no.
No, it's not. Well, that's what motivates me to do it, because I'm like, okay, it's a mini massage. We're gonna go for that. So.
Yeah, that would be great. I'll have to talk to him about that. That could be really good.
There you go. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Woman of Achievement pageant. And
yes.
I mean, in your pageant experience, I know that you started competing a couple of years ago. So let's talk about, you know, what brought you to pageantry. I know that you did fitness pageants, but how did you end up doing, you know, regular pageants, and what brought you to Women of Achievement? So
I was very big into pageants when I was a lot younger. That's another one of those. I started off in high school doing the high school and junior Miss pageant and all of that, and then went right on into the Miss America organization, which that's always going to be my soft spot. Went to the Miss America pageant. Oh, I love it. I love it. Everything about it has changed.
I'm going this year.
Are you really? Oh gosh, we just had a ball.
And when I go to Miss USA, it's only, you know, like a 5-hour car drive from where you're at. So.
Oh, I know. It's so easy from here. It's a piece of cake. But it's just, I did talent, and I was a ballet dancer, and so it was a perfect fit. So, but then when I got married and the kids came along, you know, and you're working, I always wanted to do the Mrs. pageants. But then we moved to Arizona, and then my first husband was diagnosed with cancer about the time I probably was thinking about doing the Mrs. pageants. And so that, of course, took precedence. So then 10 months after he was diagnosed with cancer and passed away, my son had the accident. So there went that. So I was maybe I was 39, 38, 39 years old. So those were my main Mrs. years, so to speak. They were gone.
Your prime.
And they're gone. Yeah, my prime of my life. It's all over now. No. But then
just started. What are you talking about?
Well, it's like once I said it took me about 7 years to kind of get out of my funk and my depression and everything. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? So my trainer and I said, you know what? He goes, I've been begging you just once. Would you just try to do this? And he was talking about the fitness contest. So we started to train for fitness contest. And I just kind of, it was like it was the right time. My mind could relax from my son long enough to just focus in on this. So we zeroed in on this contest. And we did a few of those and just were shocked at how at this age, honestly, my body responded. So then I did maybe a year and a half of those. And then I thought, well, what about those Mrs. pageants that I wanted to do? And he goes, hey, you know, look it up. Because he's always helping me find things to do and different goals and projects. So I jumped on there and I jumped in Mrs. Arizona United States and Mrs. Arizona America and just was like, oh my gosh, I missed this. Here are those women that understand. They get it. They get the goal. They get the excitement. They get the motivation. And I thought, I have missed them these last years. And that's why I got back into it. And Woman of Achievement, I just happened to talk to Marlena Martin, the director, on Facebook. And she's like a little dynamo. And she was so excited about the system and helping women and inspiring women. And her excitement just, I was like, oh, that's it. I'm in. I'm in. I fell in love with her. And I thought, because once I did those first two, getting back into the pageant thing, I was like, I got to do more. I
Well, you
love
got to
these women.
find it. In my experience, you got to kind of find the fit. And,
Mhm.
Marlena's idea about this pageant system is that
Yes.
it's kind of the next step you go after you can't compete at Miss America anymore. So that everybody knows there are different areas of competition depending on the pageant system that you
Mhm.
compete in. And then Women of Achievement, it's 25% personal interview where we sit down with a panel of judges and they ask us questions in a very short amount of time. It needs to be longer.
Which is really fast.
It was 4.5 minutes. It was the shortest 4.5 minutes of my life.
It's so fast.
And then we get a platform presentation, which is another 25% of our score, which is where we talk about our platform, what we represent. In my particular case, my platform is Cancer Grabbed, Life After Cancer, because I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. But I don't like to think about the bad parts of cancer. I go, look at what I'm doing. Hello, this is life after cancer. You can do this. And so that's my platform. And then it's 20% either talent or speech. So you can do a speech about whatever you like or your talent. In my case, this is the first and only time in all of because I've been competing for 34 years. So this is the only time I've ever done talent. Ever. And I'm done. I'm good. I'm like, okay, I'm done. That's all I wanted to do. It was the only thing on my pageant bucket list that I hadn't ever done. So I've got
oh my God. That's great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
And you did speech, and then it's 15% evening gown, 15% fitness wear. They don't have swimsuit, but it's a fitness of your choice. So whatever you do to go out and be physically fit, you wear that. And you're not judged on how your body looks. You're judged on how well, you do your thing and you be yourself and you rock the outfit. It's not based on the perfections or imperfections of your body. The tagline of the pageant is your platform is our passion, and that's really what it's about. It's about highlighting women going out and making changes in the world and using their titles to be able to do that. So. All right, so now that I've done that plug, so I'm getting really good at this one, right?
Yes, I know, I love it.
All right, so Woman of Achievement you were attracted to because of Marlena, and then I would assume just because, it really embodies that whole idea of what Miss America is
absolutely.
About. So
I like to speak. Public speaking is a big thing. I really enjoy it a lot. I get a lot of energy off of it. It makes me really excited, and I get very, very into whatever I'm speaking about, sometimes too much. So I liked that part of Woman of Achievement as well, because literally that was 3 segments of the pageant as you're talking. Exactly. And I mean, you're talking and you're talking and you're talking. So I really liked that a lot. That was a big pull for me.
Great. And what was your favorite part about pageant, besides the fact that you won a wonderful crown and a title and all of those things? So what was your favorite part about pageant?
I was so shocked, and I think when the MC said something about it as well, and the judges were commenting on it, I was so shocked how everybody cheered for everyone. We didn't need an audience. We had our own audience, and contestants were cheering for each other in the talents and speeches. They were cheering for each other in evening gown or opening when they announced themselves or whatever, and it made it so fun. And again, I didn't realize that that's what was missing. I missed those women who, like I said, who get it, who get the excitement, the motivation.
Well, and also too, sometimes you get into systems where the women are not like that, and I have competed, and I know you have as well, in those places where it's just not very friendly, And,
No.
you know, some people are in the zone. I know at one point, because I was sick, some people really thought that I wasn't, you know, I wasn't being,
Right.
I wasn't being Stacy, which, you know, is not like me.
Right.
But I mean, I didn't feel well. And then I was apologizing to people afterwards. Like, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm usually really, really outgoing and really happy. And Kay, look, Kay talks to me. Kay's like, we loved you. Are you kidding?
I'm sick.
I was like,
But you're absolutely right, because a lot of the other systems, it's very, very competitive, and it is a competition. You know,
right, at the end of the day.
we're not going to lie about it. I mean, it's a competition. But it was really more about networking with each other, because I noticed that a lot of the women there would say, well, hey, we could do this together, you know, with my platform and your platform, or what if we did that? Or what if we all got together and did this? So it was really neat, because it was a networking deal. And that was the other thing that I really, really liked, was the workshops we did. Really, really enjoyed those. I thought the speakers were great, right? And it was great. And
I'm hoping
to
next
see a
year I'll
bunch
be
of,
a speaker, though.
it was awesome, because all the contestants for about 3.5 hours were not contestants anymore. We were basically students, and we were all into the activities and the exercises, and people are taking notes and really thinking, oh wow, what can I do to market my platform, or what can I do to market myself? And so it was really interesting. And I can tell you honestly, the other systems don't do that. They don't at all, in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
You go your competition. That's it.
And then you're there, you know, you're there to be your best game face. And at the end of the day, you know, it's not about we're better as a community than we are as a singular person. So that's really what I love about Women of Achievement, is that one, and honestly, that's where the concept of Pageantry Now came from. I don't like the connotation that pageants are not friendly, and I don't like the connotation that, you know, that it's all fake and there's not real people and there's not real relationships. And
I know.
And you know, the whole idea that, oh, you couldn't possibly all be friends. Well, you know what? we pretty much, I mean, it's pretty, I mean, I know I'm in a little bit different position, because everyone's going, well, I want to be on the show. And I'm like, okay, no problem. But, you know,
everybody wanted to be your friend.
Well, and it was said, and the worst part was, before Pageant, I couldn't ask anybody to be on the show, because Marlena wanted to keep it, you know, so that there were no misconceptions and that no one thought that there was any favoritism, and I appreciated that. I mean, it's all about integrity, and a pageant has to have integrity for it to be able to grow. So I was totally okay with that. But then afterwards, I was like, okay, let's do this.
It's open.
You know, I mean, and to me, it's great, because we really get an opportunity to highlight each other. You know,
right?
And then some of the women have messaged me, well, I'm afraid to be on the show, and I'm like, why? It's just talking to me. At the end of the day, yes, we've had people that ask questions. And by the way, if anybody is on, I'm Stacy. This is Pageantry Now. This is Kim Jones. She's Ms. Elite U.S. Woman of Achievement. If you've got questions for either one of us, either about pageants or about what we do with pageants, feel free to type them in the chat box. Just make sure that you keep it as non-religious, non-political, and PC, because we want to make sure that those viewers that are 13 are still able to be able to watch the show and not have to worry about their parents going, what are you doing? So, anyways,
why are you watching them?
Why are you watching them? Why are you looking at the ladies with the crowns? And if you've got a question, type it in chat and we will address it. And if you are not a fan, please become a fan. We do the shows Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. So a different title holder is on each one of those days, so you get to know different people and talk to them as well from all over the world.
That's a lot.
I mean, tell me, well, I was doing daily shows
That's a lot.
From the end of January until about a month before Pageant. I did a daily show every single day.
Oh my.
Which was starting to get really tedious, especially because I kept flying back and forth between Las Vegas, because I was in Vegas for Miss Universe, and then I came home. And then I was in Las Vegas for Miss USA, and then I came home. And then I was in Vegas for Miss Teen USA, and then I came home. And then I was at Galaxy, and then I was, and then all of the other little pageants that I cover. Galaxy is here in Florida, which is awesome because then I didn't have to travel as far. But it was 4 days after I got home from Miss Teen USA, so I was like, yeah, okay. I'm tired.
Crazy. No kidding.
I'm tired. Anyways, so jet lag doesn't even. I mean, don't take this the wrong way, Marlena. If you watch this, I'm kind of glad I didn't win, because now I get to just do pageantry now, and as I've loved being a title holder, but it's hard to be a title holder and be a business owner and then do media too. So I have to. God had a plan, whether it was my plan or not. God had a plan, and I'm good with that plan. So there you go. So.
Yeah, I liked it at the end. My husband goes, "Are we done?
Are we done yet?
Are we done now?" And I said, "Well,
not exactly. 365 days from now, we're done.
Are we done?"
Well, one of the things that you and I have talked about just in messaging back and forth, I know, is that trying to be able to take what your initiative is and what your platform is, and trying to take it more nationally. Internationally doesn't always happen right away, and I know that that's one of the things that's really hard for title holders in the beginning. Is you all of a sudden have this national crown on your head, and you're like, okay, what do I do now?
How to use it exactly?
What do I do?
That's kind of where I'm sitting right now. I've kind of been brainstorming with a couple of people, what can we do? What are our next actions? But the one thing I'm actually very excited about is dealing with the Brain Injury Association in Utah. There is a gentleman there who is very supportive of pageantry. He's worked with Maddie Estes from Miss Arizona America last year. And so he's very supportive of the systems. And so I met him on Facebook through the pageants and all of that. And so he's talking about what can we do to partner this year. So that's a really exciting thing. He's a brand new director to that Brain Injury Association. So he's really got an open book. He's starting from the ground up. So he's very excited about building some programs in there and working in Utah. So that's a great thing that I'm excited about. So that'll be good.
There really needs to be like an advocacy program. I mean, one of the things that I feel bad sometimes, well, I feel bad because cancer has such a huge support system for anybody that has cancer, and also for the caregivers as well. It didn't start out that way. 20 years ago when I was diagnosed with cancer, there was very little information even just for the newly diagnosed patients. And then luckily, because of awareness and because of funding, it grew, and then it became about offering support for the caregivers as well. But my hope is that will be something that perhaps you can team up with a formal organization to help with advocacy, to be able to help with awareness. I would say, even reach out to the NFL. The NFL now is dealing very strongly with traumatic brain injury, and dealing with Mothers Against Drunk Drivers is probably a good organization to try to team up with as well.
We're really lucky in Arizona. We have obviously the Arizona Cardinals NFL team, but Kurt Warner and Brenda Warner are here in Phoenix. And I don't know if you know the story, but her son, his son as well, was an infant. I believe he was very early on, like maybe 16 months or so on, and he suffered a severe traumatic brain injury. Wow. So she and Kurt are both huge advocates in the area and nationwide, but they're currently building something called the Treasure House, which will be a living facility, residential facility for traumatic brain injury survivors. So with them very local, that would be a great opportunity. I'd love to get in with them.
I say make phone calls. Make as many
Mhm.
phone calls as you possibly
Right.
can. I have learned through this whole process that it takes 10 no's to get a yes, but
Yes.
usually when you get the yes is like, oh baby, that was worth every no I got. So try
Right.
and you know, use some of the networking with Pageant. I know with Lisa,
Yeah.
she's got some hookups with the airline, so
Right.
might be someone to reach out to because she can at least find out who you need to talk to.
But see, listen to what we're saying. Listen to what you were saying. You're naming people who were in the pageant,
Right.
women who were in the pageant. It's there right there. That's a whole community. It's a whole resource. So people, when they talk about pageantry, it is a resource. It's a community, and
Well,
we're talking about helping each other.
I agree. I mean, one of the biggest thrills for me during pageant week, and everybody laughed at it because I was in the suite with the Florida women, and
Right.
Miss USA goes, "Hi, Stacy," in her live feed. Her Miss USA live feed. "Hi, Stacy, she's my friend." And then the day before I left, I left to get on the airplane. She goes, "Have fun, knock 'em dead, girl. You got this." And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
when did my life become this? Because I don't remember. I don't
Exactly.
remember when I competed in USA being like this, but I'm really liking what's happening. I mean, it's so fantastic to know that I talk to a lot of the women that we competed with on a daily basis.
Right. Right.
I mean,
We're on, with social media, it makes it even easier to do.
oh,
And
yeah,
it's like they're right next door. And it's really, really helped me the last 2.5 years, I think.
Wait, do you know that Heather and I met online on another pageant show? So Heather, who is Mrs. West Coast.
Oh my gosh.
And that's how we met. And then
Wonderful.
and then we competed in a pageant together. Not in the same divisions, in different divisions. And then she has a pageant, so I competed in her pageant and won. But she is my best friend. I mean, aside from my sister-in-law, she is my best friend, and I would never have met her if it hadn't been for pageants.
I wondered how you knew her so well.
She's one of my caregivers. Like when I flew out to pageant, like she had someone assigned to take care of me when I was at pageant.
Wow.
Like Samantha too. Samantha is also part of the same group. So,
right.
I mean, Annie and I have been friends for years because we've known each other for like 13 years through pageants as well. Yeah. So, that was helpful. But
who does that?
No,
who does that? I mean,
but it's great.
13 years.
13 years.
I know. It's crazy.
She was the MC at my very first national pageant where I Sandra Bullocked and I fell on stage.
Oh no!
It's all good.
She just
kept right on going.
Oh, yeah. I've done the fall thing in talent. I did ballet, so I was, I'd slip or I'd, whatever, and it was, yeah, been there, done that, yeah.
I snuck her into the media room for Miss Universe.
Oh,
like I literally snuck Annie into the media room where Trump was, and she's like,
I can see that.
Mom, just pretend like we're supposed to be here. It's all good.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it though.
But where are you going to meet women that you're going to spend that much time with over the years and still hang out with them and go do stuff? I mean,
and who understand why you do all this crazy stuff.
Exactly, and that you understand what buckaloo is, and you know what it is to have the specific tan. And when I say, oh, my gown was made by such and such, they go, oh, really? As opposed to they go, what are you talking about? I did an interview with Mac Dougal, and everybody went, you know Mac Dougal? And I'm like, yeah, I do, actually, as a matter of fact. And his wife and his daughter and his son, too.
And people ask me, at work, I mean, they understand that side of me.
Right.
But then they're like,
CPA, right?
Yes. And they're going, you're doing a what this weekend? I'm like, oh, I have to go to California. I'm doing a pageant. They're like, a what?
Yeah. I teach gymnastics to kids, so I did my talent for my gymnastics kids, and the 9 to 12-year-olds went, so Miss Stacy, we really need to talk about this. This is probably not what. And when I came home, they all of them sat down and they said, "So, how'd it go?" It's dead serious, and I was like, I got sick and I was in the hospital, so it didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I didn't win, and they all went, "Yeah, it was because of your talent." And I was like, "What?"
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. I'm so glad that I've got your support. And then I pulled out pictures, and they all went, "Whoa, that's what you look like?"
Oh, I know. That's what you look like? That's why people from my office are like, "That's you?
What?
That's you in the pictures?"
Yeah, exactly.
That's you? Where'd you get that dress? You don't wear that to the office,
Because I take an evening gown out wherever I go, everywhere.
Yeah.
Always, Anyway. All right, so we're going to wrap up, but tell me clearly your favorite thing about pageantry is the relationships that you make.
Oh my gosh.
But
Absolutely.
tell us what has been the best part of all of this, and what we can do to get involved and how we can be part of your world.
Anybody that has any connections or anything that they want, any place that they want someone to go and speak about, things such as motivating yourself, keep on going and being inspired, make your life worth living. TBI, survive and thrive, how you can live, not just exist. I want to be a part of that. Whatever groups you have, send them to me. Find me on Facebook. Let me know about them. And that's the most miraculous thing about getting back involved in this whole community, like we call it a community, is connecting on social media. Social media is our new neighborhood. People are a click away, and it's just incredible. It's fun. It's exciting, and I love it. I love talking to everyone. I love seeing everybody. I love chatting. I love hearing about your lives. So let me know. Contact me.
So find you on Facebook, the easiest place to find you? Okay.
Yeah, that's easy.
And I just put it in chat so that people can find it.
Okay.
So it's Ms. Elite U.S. Woman of Achievement 2007, Kim Jones. So if you want to be able to find her on Facebook. You can also go to www.womanofAchievement.com. You can contact our National Director, Marlena. If you want to get involved in the program, there's also a teen program. So if you are, I think it starts at 13. So there are age divisions. Just so that you all know, the elite in our titles mean that we're over 40.
We're older.
We're older. Doesn't mean anything, because honestly, at the end of the day, it's all high. No, I'm not mature. There is no. I'm not going to say I'm grown up either, because we both know that's not true. So. Just
we're fighting age gracefully. How about that?
I'm preserved by chemotherapy. I haven't aged in 20 years. I'm good. Honestly,
I love it.
I'm good.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, I am so happy that you were able to be on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time. I was going to say, do you want to ask Jeffrey if he wants to come on and say hi, or is he not?
I haven't heard from him, so he must be banished to the back of the house. So.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, because if he wanted to,
right.
But he'll be able to go back and watch it. So, hi, Jeffrey.
He'll love that.
All right, and you guys can also find us on YouTube at PageantryNOW Media. This will broadcast, it's live streaming now, but you will be able to go watch the full interview afterwards. You can also find us as Pageantry Now on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then my life became social media, and I don't know how it became social media, but I'm really good at it now.
Wow.
Except for the Snapchat thing, which I don't care how many people try to explain it to me. I don't. Mm-hmm. Why would I want to put something up for?
Don't understand it.
24 hours. I don't get it. So.
Don't understand it.
I don't snap. I'm sorry. It's just not me. Got it. So I have to draw the line somewhere. So, so thanks so much for being on the show. And if you want to come back, please come back anytime. And You know, I just wear your crown well, make a difference in the world, share your story. It's an amazing story. And, you know, change the world. That's what it's all about.
I really appreciate getting you the opportunity to come on here and see all your people and your friends and your guests. So I really appreciate it, Stacy.
It's been fun, right? We had a good time.
Yeah.
So now you got to tell everybody it wasn't so bad, right? It was pretty easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right. All right, my love. I am going to drop you out. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Pageantry Now. Again, we'll be on Tuesday night with our special guest, I think it's Beth, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Next Sunday, we will be live at the Worldwide International Pageant here in Miami, Florida. So you can look for us. The pageant starts at 5 o'clock, so we will be doing interviews before and after the pageant, so you'll be able to talk to the delegates live on site. As we end every single one of our shows, because Ellen DeGeneres is my idol, be kind to one another. And hashtag Ellen DeGeneres, because she's the bomb.com. I'm so glad that you were all able to join us. Again, if you haven't fanned us, please fan us so you can get the notifications when we go live. And I will look for you guys next time. That's a wrap. Good night, everybody.